All right guys, welcome to session 2 of the 30-day at-home handstand challenge where we're learning and improving our ability in the handstand. Now, it's important to keep in mind that as we move through these sessions, each one is progressive. It doesn't mean that you need to follow them session after session, but get to one that you find is challenging and stick with it until you're able to master it and move on to the next one. Now, not to say that you shouldn't try some of the harder things and maybe follow along with some of the harder warm-ups. If you really want to improve your handstand ability, my recommendation is to make sure you master a certain session before moving on to the next one. In today's session, we're gonna be working more on the headstand, and the focus instead of on increasing time is gonna be on making it more difficult, making the balance more challenging. So for this session, you're gonna need your trusty broomstick, number one, and you're gonna need something to put your head on. So blanket, towel, pillow, whatever you got, it's gonna work just fine. Let's jump into the warm-up and let's get ready for today's session. We're gonna start with the dowel today. Single hand in as close to the center as you can get, and we're just gonna do 10 rotations each direction. Trying to make the rotation of the wrist as big as possible. Nice and slow, don't let the dowel swing. Let the movement come from the forearm. And let's go ahead, other hand, same thing. Nice and slow again, trying to work on the biggest range of motion possible in that wrist. Okay, now both hands onto your broomstick, and we're gonna roll the wrists away from us, rolling them forwards 10 times. At the very end, trying to hold that position before you grab on with the next hand. Again, maximum range of motion here is the goal. About 10 reps here. And then we're gonna do the same thing going towards us. Let me turn sideways so you guys can see what the hands are doing. All right, down to the ground now. Let's bring the hands together. We're gonna make some of our circles. Focusing on maximum range of motion here with those fingers together. Other direction. Going for about 10 each way. Nice and slow. Get those joints lubricated and ready to go. Opening and closing the hands 10 times. First 10, we're going palms down. And then we're flipping, we're going palms up. Spread the fingers, tight fists. Hands on the floor. We're gonna spend about a minute walking around on those wrists. Remember to adjust the position, hands sideways, hands backwards. You might find that certain positions for you feel a little tighter and spend some more time there. For me, it varies day to day. Certain ones will be a little bit stiffer, a little tighter, so I'm gonna spend a little bit more time there to open it up. If you find that a certain position for you is feeling the same, spend some time there, do some rocks, hold a stretch, try to loosen up those wrists as best as you can. Remember, as you guys are doing this one, to keep those elbows nice and straight. And let's make sure we're hitting every variation we can think of as we move around. Okay, shoulders is gonna be a little bit more of the target today as we're going through the warm-up. In the next sessions to come, we're gonna be getting onto the hands a little bit more against the wall. We wanna make sure those shoulders are prepared and ready. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start with the 15-second iso holds to begin again today. So find a spot down on your stomach. We're gonna start with the Y shape, and then it's gonna be the W shape, and then the T shape. But we're gonna go back to back today, all 3 shapes, 15 seconds each with no break. On the belly, arms out in a Y. Remember, chin on the ground. Don't forget about the shape, and lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lift those hands up nice and high. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, right to the W, and up. 1, 2, 3, 4, pull those shoulders together. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, extend out into the T, squeeze the shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, keep it up high, 13, 14, and 15. You guys are keeping your shape, right? You had your feet together, toes pointed, bum tight, belly tight? Good, just checking. Push-ups. Right up onto the hands, we're gonna go 10 push-ups again. Remember, bum down, belly round, full range of motion, chin all the way to the floor, all the way up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, go ahead. Pushing back into the cat stretch. Bum up high, shoulders down low. This one, try not to let the back arch too much. Really think about pulling the belly up. 15 seconds here. Breathe deep into the stretch. Now, we're gonna shift over to one side, and we're gonna try to push the one armpit into the ground. So a little bit more weight on the one side here, 15 seconds. Really try to push that armpit into the ground. And then go ahead, scoot over to the other side, push that shoulder over. You're gonna feel your shoulder nice and close to the ear on that other side. 15 seconds. Back down to the belly. We're gonna work on our Blackburn again this time. That's the one where we have our arms extended above, moving all the way to the back and all the way back up to the top. 5 reps, nice and slow on this one. When you guys are bringing the arms by the head, try to think about getting the arms above your ears if you're able to. We wanna think about keeping those hands off the ground as high as we can the entire time. Now, remember that shape? Toes pointed, body's nice and tight, chin down, look between the hands, and let's go. Lift up and around to the back. Pull those shoulders together on the back up to the ears. That's 1, around to the back, shoulders together, back up. 2, 3, keep those arms up nice and high. Remember the thumbs stay up. 4, 5. Okay, we got another pushing exercise. Instead of just performing a normal push-up, we're gonna perform a piked push-up. This one's gonna simulate both the position in the headstand and then the shoulder position that we're trying to achieve in the handstand. I'm gonna go ahead and turn right sideways so you guys can see. Hands gonna go on the ground about shoulder width, feet down. I'm gonna get my hips up nice and high. When my head goes down, I'm thinking about getting my head in front of the hands, just like that triangle we made before. So head's gonna go down. And then as I push up, I'm not just gonna push to here, but I'm gonna try to push my head towards my toes. You might get a little bit of a stretch in the back of the legs. If you need to, you can bend the legs a little bit, but let's focus on trying to get the armpits all the way open at the top. This is to simulate the handstand shape. This one, we got 5 reps. 1, fully open those shoulders. 2, 3, 4, 5. Once we're done with that one, we're gonna go down into the seal stretch. Toes together, hips down low, getting the stretch through the belly. 10 seconds in the middle. Ten seconds to one side. And 10 seconds on the other side. Back to the shoulders. This one, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna grab our dowel here. You're gonna need a bench if you have one. If you don't have a bench, using a couch or something of similar height is gonna be just fine. For this one, shoulder width hands with palms facing towards you. Elbows, shoulder width as well. We're gonna put them right on the edge of the bench. And we're gonna try to push the head down through the arms on this one. 15 seconds. This one you'll feel a stretch in the lats. And the last piece for the warm-up today is gonna be a little bit of core, working on the hollow shape. As we extend into the handstand position, it's gonna become very important that we remain stable through the core. So for this one, we're just gonna work on the hollow shape, and we're gonna work on extending out the hollow body position a little bit. So when we start with the hollow shape, I'm just gonna go ahead and show you guys a full hollow first, and I'm gonna break it down for you. So hollow, want the back on the ground, arms extended, tummy is tucked in, bum is tight, legs are tight, toes are pointed. If you think you got it, you can test it by doing some rocks. The rocks should be nice and smooth because we're rocking on the back. If the rocks aren't smooth, we feel like we're bouncing a little bit. That means we don't have the strength to stay in a nice hollow shape. So what I want you to try is we're just gonna go for a 30-second hold here as far as you can. We're gonna start in a tuck shape. If you can get the tuck, we're gonna try to extend just a single leg out. Here, the bum is tight, the back is on the ground, arms reaching by the legs. We got that. Make sure we try the other leg. Opposite foot right beside the knee. Make sure back is still on the floor. If we got that one, we can extend out both legs. And if you got that, back still on the ground, we lift the arms up above the head. 30-second hold, and whichever one you think you can manage. All right, let's get into the skill work for today. Now, in last session, we were building up time. In this session, we're building up in difficulty. So what we're doing for the balance portion is gonna change, but then after every one, we're still making sure that we're getting those shoulders ready. I can't stress how important it is to prepare the shoulders for handstand work down the road. A lot of the feedback that I was getting was in commenting that the shoulders needed more preparation, so spend the time getting them ready now. It's only gonna get harder when we're on the hands. If you're noticing that we're tight in that overhead position, then before you do the shoulder work today, do extra stretching, whether that's a cat stretch, whether that was the one where we're holding the dowel with the elbows up on the couch or on the bench. Do that before you perform the 5 reps of the shoulder strength work. Let's talk about the balance stuff first. And then in between every set of balance, just like we did in session 1, we're gonna be performing some shoulder strength. We have 3 different positions that we're gonna work on today. If you're on the first one, we wanna make sure that we can build up to a 30-second hold minimum before we're working on the next one. So the progressions today are gonna be a monkey stand, a headstand, and a forearm stand. So again, 30-second minimum before you try the next one. Each progression is harder in the sense that our feet are getting higher above us, or the base of support is getting smaller. Because of those 2 things, we have to be a lot more aware of where and what our body is doing in order to maintain balance. Now, if you can't hold a 30-second hold in the progression before, it's gonna be extremely difficult to have any confidence in the next progression we're working on. We're gonna start with the monkey stand here, and I'm gonna run through these with you guys. Hands go down, we wanna make sure we can see those fingertips. head on the ground in front. We're starting with the knees on the elbows. Now, if this is all you can do, no problem. We're gonna spend time here and we're just gonna get comfortable in this position. This is about the easiest thing we can do where we're working on balance when we're upside down. You can get to 30 seconds here. You're feeling good about yourself. So we're gonna go for the headstand. Now, here we have to pay a little bit more attention to what the body's doing. We're trying to reach our toes up to the roof, legs straight, bum tight, back is flat by pulling the ribs up. That's gonna be really important for us when we move on to the forearm stand, which is gonna be the next one. So you can get 30 seconds there. Then we're gonna go for the forearm stand. Setup is gonna be a little different here. What we wanna do is fingers are gonna interlace together, and this little cup that I'm making with the back of my hands is where the back of my head is gonna go. So in the forearm stand, we're focusing on balancing on this part of the arm with the head still on the ground. Now, the base of support is smaller, so it's gonna be a little bit easier for you to topple over. Make sure you have room, so if you need to roll out or fall out, you can. Forearms are gonna go down. I'm gonna lace those fingers together. My head is going directly on the floor with the back of the head tucked into the hands. From here, we can start in a tuck, and then we're gonna lift all the way up into the forearm stand here. Now, we wanna focus on keeping even pressure underneath the head, underneath the wrists, underneath the elbows, and all the way across the forearms. 30 seconds here is the goal. Those are our 3 progressions for our balance work today. Monkey stand, headstand, handstand. Minimum of 30 seconds before we're trying the next exercise. Now, for the strength work, between every set of balance that you do, we're grabbing our trusty dowel. We're gonna work on a similar exercise that we did in session 1. We're gonna add a little bit more movement to it. For this one today, instead of grabbing on with our hands, we're going to place the bar between the thumb and your first finger. So your pinkies are facing down and the thumbs are facing up. Shoulder width hands on this one. And we're gonna start, chin on the ground, toes pointed, body nice and straight. Here's where we get to practice the shape that we're gonna be using when we're upside down in our balance. So, grabbing on, chin on the ground, we're gonna start by lifting the dowel, and then we're gonna pull it so the dowel comes to our head, and then we're gonna extend back out 5 times, all the way down, feeling like the elbows are pulling towards your bum, and then push the bar far away, trying to get shoulders all the way to the ears. 5 reps here, keeping the bar off the floor nice and far. And remember, we only want the hands up. Don't let the feet lift, don't let the chin lift. Keep the chin on the ground, keep the body nice and straight, and isolate the movement with the dowel. So similar to what we did yesterday, we're starting with first progression. We're gonna work on the monkey stand, trying to get up to the 30-second hold. Once you're done, the longest hold you can manage, we're gonna come back down, and we're gonna work on 5 reps with the dowel. Back over. If you got the 30-second monkey stand, let's try the 30-second headstand. Now, whether you got it or not, we're still gonna come back over and we're gonna work on the dowel. If you got it, feel free to go to the forearm stand. Work on trying to get the 30 seconds there and coming back to the dowel in between every one. If you can make it up to the forearm stand, let's stay on that progression. Let's spend time in the most challenging position that we can manage and build our balance there. Challenge for the day, we're working on control. That's a lot of what we already practiced in today's session while we're trying to get more difficult positions while we're upside down. So we're gonna be using the headstand for this one, and we're gonna see if we can press into the position. So we got a tuck press, a straddle press, and a pike press in that order. The pike press is the hardest, the tuck press is the easiest. So headstand first, we're gonna set up our position. And our first challenge is, can we tuck and press up to a headstand? So toes on the floor, my knees are nice and close to my chest when I start. I'm gonna pull my heels to my bum, and then I'm gonna extend out into the headstand. I'm gonna bring my knees back to my chest, feet back to the floor. That's the tuck press. You got that one? Let's try the straddle press. Same setup. This time, legs nice and straight. Toes are still together. I'm not straddling yet. I'm gonna lift by leaning my bum a little till my feet feel light. Once my feet are light, legs come apart, and I circle my feet around all the way up into the headstand. Same thing, open the legs wide, circle them around all the way down until they're back in front of you. That's a straddle. Now the pike press. This is the hardest one because there's the most leverage as you're pressing up to the headstand. So we're gonna start, same position. Feet back. We're gonna lean until the feet are light. Now, instead of letting the legs open, we're just gonna pull them straight up. Into the headstand, straight back down. That one's a fun one. Those are your challenges for today. Let me know which one you guys can accomplish. And that's it for session 2, guys. Tag me in your work on Instagram so I can get a better idea of what your progress is looking like. It's really helpful to me when I get to see what you guys are doing, and then I can assess what things we might need to spend more time on. Now, in the next session, we're gonna be getting off the head, we're gonna be getting onto the hands, working on some handstand work, working on a little bit more strength work. So I'll see you guys in a couple days for session number 3. Peace.